Hello everyone! The second video in the Coding Mission Control series is here. In this video, we'll show you how to use the encoders on your device to change the speed at which the LEDs turn on and off. Now, let's quickly go over the block sections we'll use in this example, which we haven't already covered in the last video. The logic section will allow us to define specific conditions that need to be met in order to execute some part of a code. The math section will allow us to set our variables to specific numerical values and to use different mathematical operations to adjust them later. The text section will allow us to write any kind of text we want on the display. The variables section will allow us to create and define variables which we'll be using throughout the code. Each variable has a specific name and you can store and change its value. Similarly, the functions section will allow us to create different functions. Each function can trigger several actions and you can call this function multiple times throughout the code. And finally, the display section, which will allow us to use the display. In this example, we'll define 3 different speed options for the LEDs. To keep track of the chosen speed, we need to create a variable. Now we can set that variable to the starting speed, which will be 1. Great! Now let's define these 3 different speed options by using functions. Create a function for the slowest option. You can name it light slow. When this function is triggered, we want the power, pair, and light LEDs to slowly turn on and off one after another. To achieve that, add the following blocks. This next function will be used for the medium speed option. You can simply duplicate all the blocks from this previous function and change the sleep 1 seconds blocks into sleep 500 milliseconds. Finally, let's repeat this process for the fast option and change the sleep blocks into 100 milliseconds. Great! Now let's create another function and name it lights. This function will determine which of the 3 previously defined speed functions will be triggered based on the currently selected speed. To do that, add the following blocks. Now we need to be able to change the speed, so let's create 2 more functions, one for increasing the speed and one for decreasing it. We also need to constrain the speed variable since we only have 3 speed options. Add the following blocks to define these functions. This last function will be used to show the currently selected speed on your display. Add the following blocks and remember to include the push frame block since we're using the display. Keep in mind that the display has a 128 x 128 pixel resolution, so the values of the x and y coordinates will match those pixels. Now let's move on to the inputs. Add the following blocks to trigger the speed down function when the camera encoder moves to the left. You can do the same with the speed up function when the camera encoder moves to the right. We'll use the cam tower encoder button to trigger the lights function. Great, now we only need to add the loop forever block. Put the show speed function inside. Also, don't forget to include the scan buttons, scan encoders and sleep 20 milliseconds blocks to ensure proper code execution. We're done with coding. If your code looks like this, you are ready to click on the Run button. Press the encoder to see the LEDs turn on and off. Now try changing the speed by turning the encoder left and right. When you choose a new speed option, press the encoder again to see the difference. Encoders are great for changing variables like this. If you want to put the stock firmware back onto your device, you can simply go here and click on the Restore Firmware button. Thank you for watching this video and stay tuned for more examples.